An old woman in a faded wrapper walked into the Okafor mansion that Monday morning, holding a bucket and a mop. Her scarf was tied tightly under her chin, and her eyes, though dim, carried a secret light. Everyone thought she was just another maid looking for daily work. No one knew that behind those wrinkles was Madam Halima Okafor, the mother of one of Lagos's most powerful men, Michael Okafor, the billionaire businessman whose name made headlines. The mansion stood like a palace on Banana Island, tall white walls, golden balconies, and marble floors that shone like mirrors. To outsiders, the Okafors were a perfect family. Newspapers called them Lagos's royal family of real estate. Market women admired their cars, neighbors waved at their convoys. But inside the house, kindness ended at the gate. Halima's letter of employment said she was a part-time cleaner. She bent her back slightly, pretending to be weaker than she was. Her voice was soft, almost fragile, when the head housekeeper, Madam Chika, looked her over. "You are the new cleaner?" "Yes, Ma," Halima said quietly. "I sweep well. I don't talk much." "Good," Madam Chika said. "Just do your work and don't get involved in family matters." Halima nodded. But in her heart, she whispered, "I came here for family matters." Inside the mansion lived 5 young women: Amira, Tenny, Rita, Dami, and Layla. The first 4 were Chief Okafor's biological daughters. Layla was the adopted one, a charity case taken in after a televised outreach. She was beautiful but gentle, always quiet, always the one they sent to do things no one wanted to touch. When Halima started her cleaning rounds, she noticed everything. Amira threw her handbag on the chair and shouted for tea. Tenny smiled sweetly at photographers outside but frowned once they left. Rita scolded the cook and recorded it for fun. Dami giggled as she dropped crumbs on the freshly swept floor. But Layla carried her own laundry basket. She fetched water, helped the gardeners, and said thank you to everyone. When Halima struggled with the heavy flower vase, Layla rushed to help. "Grandma, let me carry that," she said softly. "I'm fine, my daughter," Halima whispered. "Are you not tired?" Layla smiled. "We all live here, Ma. We should all work." That night, as the mansion lights glittered against the dark Lagos sky, Halima lay on a thin mattress in the staff quarters. She listened to laughter and footsteps echo down the hallway, some sweet, some cruel. Closing her eyes, she prayed, "God, show me their hearts. Help me find the one who is true." And somewhere far above her, in a room filled with perfume and mirrors, the Okafor sisters laughed about their day, never guessing that the old woman mopping their floors was watching them all, and would soon decide their future. 5 o'clock. "Everyone, move." Madam Chika's voice cracked through the quiet dawn like a whip. The sound of buckets, footsteps, and doors opening filled the massive Adiwale mansion in Ikoyi. The air smelled of polish, soap, and fresh bread from the kitchen downstairs. Madam Halima adjusted her wrapper and tied her scarf tighter. Her hands trembled slightly, not from fear but from the effort to play a role she hadn't played in decades. She had been the wife of a business mogul, then the mother of a billionaire. But now, in this grand house, she was just another maid. "New woman." Madam Chika called sharply, "Come help me with the marble floor before the family wakes up." Halima bent respectfully. "Yes, Ma." As she worked beside Chika, her old knees ached from scrubbing. She could feel the eyes of the other maids on her, some curious, others pitying. Memar Ireti, the cook, gave her a kind nod from the kitchen doorway, but no one spoke much. It was too early for talk. By 7 o'clock, the first sign of wealth echoed through the house, the laughter of the Adiwale sisters. Amira's sharp voice came first, ordering the driver to polish her white Mercedes before breakfast. Tenny shouted from the hallway, complaining about her missing earrings. Rita and Dami argued over whose makeup kit belonged on the counter. When they came down the stairs, their perfume filled the entire corridor. They wore silk robes, each more expensive than the last. Their hair glistened in the morning light like trophies, their smiles bright but empty. "Who is this new one?" Amira asked, frowning as Halima bent to clean the floor near her feet. "The new maid," Madam Chika replied quickly. "Started yesterday." Amira raised an eyebrow. "Make sure she doesn't touch my closet. I don't like strangers touching my things." "Yes, Ma," Halima said softly, her eyes on the floor. The other sisters giggled. Then came a different voice, softer, kinder. "Good morning, Ma." Layla, wearing a plain cotton dress and simple slippers, stepped into the hall holding a cup of tea. "You look tired. Please, take this." Halima looked up, startled. The girl's smile was gentle, her eyes full of sincerity. Halima hesitated, unsure whether to break character. "I thank you, my dear," she whispered. Amira turned sharply. "Layla, why are you giving our tea to the staff?" Layla looked confused. "She hasn't eaten since morning." "Not your concern," Amira snapped. "Go and iron my gown instead." Layla's lips tightened, but she obeyed silently. Halima watched her leave, sadness in her eyes. Throughout the day, Halima studied them quietly. Amira was controlling and proud, barking orders at everyone. Tenny pretended to be kind whenever Madam Chika was around but mocked the other staff behind her back. Rita spent her time gossiping and recording videos on her phone. Dami, the youngest, cared only about clothes, mirrors, and followers online. And then there was Layla, moving through the house like a shadow, doing extra chores that weren't hers. When Halima tried to help her, the girl would smile faintly and say, "It's okay, Ma. I don't like trouble." But trouble came anyway. That evening, as the sisters prepared for dinner, a glass vase in the lounge fell and shattered. The sound startled everyone. "Who broke that?" Madam Chika shouted. Before Halima could open her mouth, Dami pointed at her. "It's the new maid. I saw her cleaning there." Halima froze. She hadn't even entered the lounge all day. "It's not true." Layla's voice cut through the tension. "I was there, she didn't do it. The cat knocked it over." The sisters exchanged irritated glances. Madam Chika frowned but sighed. "Next time, be careful where you clean," she said to Halima, choosing peace over confrontation. When the family left, Halima turned to Layla and whispered, "Thank you, my child." Layla smiled. "Some people just need to be seen, Ma. Don't worry. You'll get used to them." Halima smiled faintly, her heart heavy but hopeful. That night, in the small maid's quarters, she sat on her narrow bed and opened a worn notebook. Her handwriting was neat, deliberate. Day 1 at the Adiwale mansion. The daughters are as divided as light and darkness. Only one shows the kindness of heart I came to find. She paused, listening to the soft hum of the city outside. Then she closed her notebook and whispered to herself, "The test has begun." By the third morning, Madam Halima already knew every sound the Adiwale mansion made before sunrise, the whir of the generator, the distant call of the gate security, the hiss of the iron in the laundry room, and the muffled complaints of maids half awake. Lagos never truly slept, and neither did this house. She swept the corridor slowly, humming under her breath, careful not to draw attention. Her eyes caught everything, the unkind looks from the sisters, The way Madam Chika tensed whenever Chief Adiwale's voice echoed from the phone, and the way Layla always worked twice as hard as everyone else. By noon, the mansion buzzed with activity. Chief Adiwale had returned from his trip to Port Harcourt. The staff lined up near the entrance as his car, a sleek black Range Rover, rolled in through the golden gates. "Welcome, sir," Madam Chika and the other maids chorused, bowing slightly. Chief Adiwale stepped out, tall, broad, and commanding. His fine agbada fluttered gently in the breeze, and his gold wristwatch caught the sunlight. He nodded approvingly at his daughters, who were already dressed like they were attending a fashion show. "My beautiful girls," he said proudly, pulling Amira into a side hug. "How is everything here?" "Perfect, Daddy," Amira answered sweetly. "We missed you." Halima stood quietly behind the others, her face lowered. The chief barely noticed her as he walked in, surrounded by perfume, smiles, and laughter. In the living room, the family gathered. Madam Halima carried a tray of fruit and drinks, pretending not to hear as the chief spoke. "I spoke to my friend, Alhaji Musa," he said. "His son, Tari, will be arriving from London tomorrow. He's a fine young man, well-educated, focused, and serious about business. You'll all like him." Tenny's eyes sparkled. "London? Did you say London, Daddy?" Chief Adiwale smiled. "Yes. He runs part of his father's company there. He'll be in Lagos for a few months to work on a joint investment project with me." Amira's lips curled into a smile. "We'll make him feel very welcome." Rita giggled. "Maybe more than welcome." They all laughed except Layla. She stayed quiet, sipping her juice, her eyes distant. Halima's hand trembled slightly on the tray, but she quickly steadied it. Her heart pounded. Her son, Tari, was the one they were talking about. The man they were plotting to impress was the very reason she was here. And none of them knew. When she left the room, she paused in the hallway, her heart heavy. She could already see the path forming: deceit, pride, and greed on one side, humility and truth on the other. Later that evening, Layla found her cleaning the balcony. "Ma," she said softly, "you've been quiet today." Halima smiled faintly. "Just tired, my dear. These floors have their own secrets." Layla laughed gently, sitting near her. The sunset painted her face gold and soft. "I grew up here," she said after a moment. "But I still feel like a guest. They don't let me forget I'm adopted. I was only 8 when Chief Adiwale took me in. My parents died in an accident. I was just lucky, I guess." Halima's broom paused. She turned slowly, her eyes kind but sharp. "Luck can bring you into a house," she said. "But kindness keeps you there." Layla smiled sadly. "Sometimes I wonder if I belong anywhere." Halima placed a hand on her shoulder. "You belong wherever you keep your heart pure." They sat in silence, watching the sky fade into evening. But later that night, as Halima walked to her small room, she heard whispers from the upstairs balcony. She recognized the voices immediately: Amira and Tenny. "Listen," Amira said. "When Tari comes, Layla must not be anywhere near him. You know how men like her quiet type, we can't risk that." Tenny chuckled. "I have a plan. Let's make her look foolish in front of him. Maybe spill something, or ruin her dress at the welcome dinner." Amira smirked. "Perfect. We'll see who the angel of the house really is." Halima froze in the shadows, her heart burning. The cruelty in their tone was sharper than glass. She stepped back quietly, returning to her quarters unseen. She sat on her bed, opened her notebook, and wrote. The daughters of wealth have lost the scent of goodness. They see kindness as weakness and pride as power. My son will see through them if he opens his eyes. Then she added one last line before closing it. The storm is coming.